Hi, we are live here. Let's do this thing. As right now, the Toronto Blue Jays are up 3-1 over the Detroit Tigers here in spring training. We got newly acquired Eric Swanson pitching against Ibanez. Here it is the top of the fourth. 2 men on, 1 out, full count here. Got one watching. Welcome in, as we're just going to wait for people to get in here. We got a 3-1 lead for the Toronto Blue Jays as far as I've seen since the TV got kind of back on. Pretty much all our starters are playing today, so that is great to see from the Toronto Blue Jays. It is a split day game here, so I'm actually going to go check out what the score of the other one that's not on TV is. Of course, they got Kirk and everyone playing this game here. It is 4-0 for the Phillies in the other game. Let's go see the box score. So in the Phillies game, they got Merrifield, Varsho, Howitz, Martinez, Barger, Lukes, Brantley, and Bernard. Jose Barrios pitched 2 innings, walking a batter, striking out 2. Thomas Hatch has been surrendered all 4 runs in 1/3 of an inning pitched for the Blue Jays against the Phillies. His ERA is now at 108 because of that. So Thomas Hatch, of course, giving up a lot of runs. But to be fair, the Phillies are playing their starting lineup. Zach Wheeler pitched for them as well. In this game, we had Chris Bassett pitch. He gave up 1 earned run in 2 innings of 2 hit ball, 1 walk, no strikeouts. Jimmy Garcia went a full inning, giving up 1 hit. And Eric Swanson is currently having 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, as we are going towards 5,000 now. 5,000 subscribers. As we got Swanson versus Sands here. I believe that is Jansen behind the plate right now for the Toronto Blue Jays. So mostly all the starters besides Merrifield, who, is a bench as of right now, and Barrios and Varsho, they are playing Philly. Everyone else is here playing the Detroit Tigers. 1-1 count. That is fouled off by Sands here. As you know, I don't know if I care for this pitch clock at all. That's going to be something to get used to for sure in that aspect. As I keep getting notifications, as you know, Gavin Lux, if you haven't seen that video, Gavin Lux has been injured and ruled out for the rest of the season. That's, that sucks for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Just the fact that they didn't go in on Trey Turner. They let Corey Seager walk. They knew they had Lux coming up, and to have it happen, it's a tough time being a Dodgers fan. Now we're 2-2 count. Pitch clock's at 4. I kind of like how it's on the screen. And Sands swings, grounder to Chapman, and he'll take it to third for the force out, as the Blue Jays have a 3-1 lead going into the bottom of the 4th. Here, no errors yet. Tigers 1 run on 4 hits with an error. Blue Jays 3 runs on 4 hits with no errors. As we are in commercial break here, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I got 2 of you in here. Welcome in, as we will just watch this commercial here, and hopefully things turn around. As we're just going to fix some things here. Program sports playlists. Add that into there. Save. All right, got a questionnaire up there for everyone. As will the Toronto Blue Jays win the AL East this season? I think they have a sure shot. I did a video on this. If you haven't checked that out, go check that out. As you know, my thoughts is I don't think Aaron Judge is doing what he did last year, and which really helped the Yankees with a lot of game-winning home runs. You know, getting the Yankees above. If there's no doubt in my mind, Aaron Judge will hit 40 home runs, but those 27 extra home runs that he didn't get last season, or 23 compared to last season, is going to change the fact of them winning. And the Jays were only, I think, 7 to 9 games behind them in second. So it's going to be a tough situation. But make sure you vote for that there, as we got one vote in for yes, they will win, as we got Jake Foley here against Danny Jansen, who's 0 for 1, and he will fly out to center field on the first at bat of the game. All right. We've been live for 7 minutes. Thank you guys for so much for tuning in. As now we got Kevin Kiermaier, newly signed Kevin Kiermaier. Hasn't played since July 26th, 29th of last season. So hopefully this can be his turnaround season. The Blue Jays really went defensive this year in the outfield. Kevin Kiermaier is a really solid outfielder, and we've seen it with him robbing the Jays playing for Tampa Bay. Varsho's a really good young outfielder who's up and coming. And what can we say about, George Springer, who they can do a lot of damage out there in the outfield. As we got 2 likes, one of you in here, welcome in. As Kevin Kiermaier has a 3-1 count to Foley. And, that was inside. But they call it a ball, or a strike, sorry. There's times I wish they had these robot umpires, because they wouldn't get those calls wrong. As Kevin Kiermaier slashes it down past the second baseman. That was a hard hit ball, as Kevin Kiermaier is 2 for 2 today, hitting in the 7th hole. Next up is Espinal, who's in the 8th hole. That was a hard hit ball, and that just got past the second baseman. I was ready to say he's going to throw it to first and get Kevin Kiermaier out, but that was a hard hit ball to the second baseman of the Detroit Tigers. And there's been a balk to the pitcher. So now you can't move your foot or it gets called. And that was a balk, as Kevin Kiermaier gets to go up to second here on the play. As Espinal, of course, 1 for 1, takes a ball low. This is going to be hard for guys like Kevin Gausman, where he likes to lift his foot, move his foot. You cannot do that anymore. And that's what Jake Foley just did, was he lifted his foot a little bit, tapped it, probably just to force a habit at this point of his career, where you can't do that anymore, which kind of sucks for players, which I wouldn't have brought that in same time as the time clock, but it is what it is. As Espinal, oh, that's a far outside strike, but he has a 2-1 count here to Foley. As Foley's 2-1 count to Espinal. Espinal takes it, and it's a 2-2 count, but half of these, I don't know if it's the angle I'm sitting at or this ump is just blind, but that did not look like strike at all. Espinal goes down the right line. That will drop for a base hit, and Kevin Kiermaier will score from second as Espinal gives the Jays a 4-1 lead with a base hit down the first base line, which drops. As we are 100% that the Jays will win the AL East. Okay, let me know in the comments why you guys think that. As Espinal with a great single down the line, scoring Kiermaier from second. New Bach rule messed up Foley on that play. As here is Eden as he swings and misses. This guy is tall. I don't know who this Eden guy is, probably a prospect or something, but he is tall. As he goes swinging for the first one. As they throw over the first, Espinal is safely back. Here's Foley to Eden, and that is on the outside of the plate for strike two. 0-2 count to Eden, who is 0 for 1 today. 1 out here, bottom of the fourth. As you know what, I'm just going to lay back, relax. You know, there's been a bunch of NHL news today. If you're new to my channel, you'll know that. As it is a 1-2 count to Eden here. 4-1 Blue Jays, bottom of the fourth. Espinal just hit a bloop single to score Kevin Kiermaier, who got a single, and then the pitcher balked. Here's Eden, and he hits that right off the toe of his foot for a foul. 1-2 count still. Yeah, this new balk rule, I'm not a fan of it. I like how pitchers can do what they kind of wanted in previous years, where I know Gosman's one of those. He likes to tap his foot. Can't do that anymore because they consider it a balk. And that is what Foley did on that play. As Bo Bichette, I believe, is up next. But Eden's still in the box. 1-2 count. He gets a hold of one. And that is going to be dropping for a single. Eden is 1 for 2 today. Espinal to second. Blue Jays up 4-1 with 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth. Let's go look at the other Blue Jays team playing today. Merrifield, Barrios, and Varsho. We'll go check that score. It is now 5-0 for the Phillies over the other Blue Jays team playing today here. Thomas Hatch has only pitched 2/3 of an inning, giving up 5 runs on 5 hits. Ooh, that's rough. Let's see. Trey Turner's 2 for 3. No home runs, so they're all just getting batted in there at that point. That is not good for Thomas Hatch. He is trying to be one of those guys that can help the Toronto Blue Jays this year. As they throw over the first, and Eden is back safely. Runners at first and second. George Springer up to bat. He's 1 for 2 today. 3 of you in here. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's try and get this likes up a bit here, as Clemhawks is all about anything MLB. Lots of live streams going to happen over the course of the year with special guest Dolany TV from time to time, and a little bit of NASCAR since Clem's into that stuff as well. Springer 3-0 count here. Foley 5 seconds to pitch it, and he will turn around, walk off the mound as they have Alex Fado and Carlos Guzman warming up for the Detroit Tigers. And here is Springer. He's just going to take a strike. He's like, I don't want to swing at that, as the count is 3-1 now in favor of George himself. He is 1 for 2. And here comes the pitch. George goes down the line, but that will cut foul for strike 2. Full count to George Springer here. Let's just see how my mic's doing here. There we go. Set the mic up a bit better for you guys. As the pitch is coming in, and that's high and inside as George Springer draws a walk, and bases are loaded. 1 out for Bo Bichette, as that was a good work by Springer, getting the pitcher to pitch a little bit more. That's what the Jays have been working on the past few seasons, I've noticed, is getting that pitcher to really pitch his stuff, as Bichette is 1 for 1 with a single walk and a run today, sorry. I almost said tonight. It's only 12:24 where I am. But Bichette is up, and there's something on the field that they're getting George Springer to go do. Oh, George Springer has been pulled from the game, and they'll bring in Alec Roden, I believe they just said, to pinch run for George Springer. Here's Bichette, and that's down the right field line and foul. He went for that one. As Bichette is 0 for 1 here. Bases loaded, 1 out. Alan Roden is the pinch runner for George Springer. Here's Bichette again, late on the swing, but he seems to be trying to pull it down that right field line. He does have the power to go oppo taco. So I don't know if the Jays have been kind of working on him with, there's no shift now. So I don't see why Bichette would try and go down the left side of the field. But hey, that's why I don't play baseball professionally. Here comes the pitch. That is far and outside. 1-2 count to Bichette. And, of course, it is a 4-1 game. Bases loaded, 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Espinal at 3rd. Eden at 2nd. And here comes the pitch. And that is outside, too. 2-2 count. Tried to get it framed there by the catcher of the Detroit Tigers. Not doing so in that one. Here comes the pitch. Bichette goes down low to get it. So it's going to be a double play, and it is a double play as Foley gets out, only surrendering 1 run. Kevin Kiermaier comes in from 2nd after a single by Espinal. Jays up 4-1 going to the top of the 5th inning here. As we are in commercial break now. Got the playoff beard for hockey going on here. 4 likes on the stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. 5 votes saying the Blue Jays will win the AL East. That's some guts there, folks, but I like it a lot. As we are just in a commercial break here, so we'll just take some time. It's the insurance policy broker one. I think it's Desjardins, possibly how it says. So let's get going here. I just hope there's no game sound to this. I should. Oops. Oops, I do have some of the sound on. That's okay. Hopefully it doesn't get flagged or anything. We'll see what happens there. as now we have Anthony Bass, acquired last year from the Marlins. Played in 73 games, 1.54 ERA. That's pretty good for Anthony Bass. In 70 innings pitched, he struck out 73, walked 20 guys. He's going to be a huge part of this Toronto Blue Jays team this year, especially coming out of the bullpen. The bullpen a little bit upgraded. There's Eric Swanson talking to the the commentators there, as Bass will pitch the first one and get a strike called for his first pitch, as we got Zach Short, who is 1-for-1, singled in the third inning for the Tigers. Here's Bass, and that's strike 2 for Anthony Bass. Perfect. That's what we wanted there today, folks. Is Anthony Bass just coming out, doing his own thing. Don't worry if it's spring training, regular season. Just go out there, do your thing, as there's a swinging foul ball, and the count will stay at 0-2. Love to see all the Blue Jays down in Dunedin today watching the game. Ooh, Bass went down to 1 second there and gets the called strike. That was close to a time clock violation for Anthony Bass, as he strikes out Short for his first batter of the game. As here comes Matton for the Detroit Tigers. Bass, 4 pitches for Short, and he gets another strike. So out of the 5 pitches, he has 5, well, technically 5 strikes, a foul strike as well on the third one. So he's doing pretty good out of the bullpen right now. 0-1 count to Matton. Here comes the pitch. That is high. I had to jinx it, right? As Matton will take a ball. 1-1 count here to Matton himself. As there's a pitch, and that catches some of the plate. Anthony Bass is pretty much just around the plate right now. Perfect pitches. That's what we like to see from him. As it is a 1-2 count to Matton. Bass has 4 seconds to pitch it. There he goes, and a swinging foul ball. So 1 ball in his first 8 pitches. That is what we want from Anthony Bass throughout the year this year. That will help the Blue Jays a lot this season. I hope the bullpen can actually do its thing this year. And I believe with the additions of Pop last season, Bass, Simber, Simber came in and stole the show for a bit. Romano, Eric Swanson. We have, you got to add Tim Mesa to that too. We got a pretty stellar bullpen if you're the Toronto Blue Jays. And hopefully they can do what they need to do, as that is a strike 3 looking for 2 outs, all based on strikeouts looking. That is what Anthony Bass is here to do, as he has punched out the first 2 batters of the top of the 5th by looking strikes. They're still interviewing Swanson, but I can't really listen to it because of the stream. I hope the stream wasn't listening while I was talking, but we will get a swinging strike to start off Green, Bass versus Green here, as Anthony Bass has sat down the first 2 batters here in the 5th inning by looking strikeouts, and he has Green swinging for the fences here. 0-2 count to Green. He is 1 for 2 with a single in the first. As here comes Bass, and a strike 3 swinging, as Anthony Bass strikes out the side in order in the top of the 5th, as the Blue Jays will be batting at the bottom of the 5th. I believe Vladdy Guerrero Jr. will be due up this half of the inning. Just going to go look at the other Blue Jays game going on. It is now currently 5-1, as it doesn't say who got the RBI. It doesn't say who got the RBI. Who got the RBI? Come on, tell us. It's still not updated, but the other Blue Jays team is losing 5-1 to the Philadelphia Phillies out there, as Thomas Hatch has been rocked for 5 runs today on 5 hits. As we are on commercial break, but if you're just tuning in, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that like button, as we are trying to go for 5,000 subscribers. Now, like I said, Anthony Bass just struck out the side in order against the Detroit Tigers. Two looking strikeouts and 1 swinging strikeout, as they're showing Vladdy Guerrero Jr. just kind of dancing, getting loose. Gotta love Vladdy, how he just enjoys it. And Bichette getting in on the dancing as well. As you like to see, they're having fun. That's what it comes down to. Winning ball games, having fun. That's what the Jays are about. And, they did get rid of 2 of their fun guys, but hopefully, Springer, Vladdy, and Bichette could get in there with all the fun stuff with the new guys as well. As winds are picking up there in Dunedin, you can see the trees just kind of pushing to the one way. As now we got Fado pitching for the Detroit Tigers. Alex Fado, 5.53 ERA last season in 12 starts. Opponent's average was 293 in 53 and 2/3 innings. He had 44 strikeouts and 25 walks. Due up for the Blue Jays at the plate right now, of course, Vladdy Guerrero Jr. starting his spring training off really hot with that home run, which didn't take long to happen in the first spring training game. He's 0 for 1 today with a walk. He's down 0-1 in the count, 0-2 with a swinging strike on a slider, it looked like, to the outside of the plate. As here comes the third pitch. That's in the dirt. Vladdy knows to hang on to that, as the count is 1-2 to Vladdy. Bottom of the 5th here. Toronto up 4-1. The other team, of course, losing 5-1 to the Philadelphia Phillies, as that is high and outside, and the count is 2-all here to Vladdy Guerrero Jr. And here's the pitch. That's low. Maybe not. They called that a strike, and Vladdy is just walking away smiling. I don't think that was a strike. That was low. As Blue Jays prospect Ricky Tiedemann is warming up in the bullpen. I did do a video. I said he could be the dark horse for the Toronto Blue Jays to maybe hit that 5th starter over Kikuchi. He is a left-handed pitcher too. So we'll see what happens with Tiedemann. As here's Matt Chapman in the 4-hole. He is 1-1 count, as they just got back to the game after showing Ricky Tiedemann. Chapman 0 for 1 with a sac fly in the 3rd inning. Here comes the 3rd pitch of the bat, and that is low and away for a 2-1 count. I kind of like this whole pitching clock in a sense that it kind of gets the ball off faster. You don't have time to just mess around a bit, as that's a low, as well as it's a 3-1 count to Matt Chapman here. As here comes the pitch. That is low. Clearly, I don't know what a low ball is anymore, according to this ump, because Matt Chapman just got dinged for a strike that was below his kneecaps, and then swings that one down the middle, and he got too much of that. That will be a foul ball. Even Snyder is kind of like looking like, what is going on here with the calls on the Blue Jays? As here comes the pitch that's inside, and Matt Chapman has drawn a walk on 7 pitches, and he will go to first. And batting 5th for the Blue Jays is Kevin Biggio. Kevin Biggio 0 for 1 today. And that's okay. I'm not even gonna call balls and strikes anymore because that was clear as day too high, and it was still a strike somehow. And here's Biggio. He's gonna bloop it, and it's gonna drop in front of the right fielder. And Chapman had to wait, and he is thrown out at second just because he had to wait to see if that ball was catched. Matt Chapman kind of in a rough situation there. That's not really on him, as Austin Meadows does get the ball there and throws Chapman out at second. It's just one of those plays where the ball, you didn't know if he was catching it, landing, whatnot. And it's just one of those plays. It was a nice throw by Meadows. I think Biggio has on and pulled. Sixth batter here is 0 for 2, Danny Jansen. Oh, excuse me. Danny Jansen swinging on the second pitch. It's a 1-1 count here today, folks. Jansen 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout. The Jays do need to work on the whole strikeout thing. I think that's going to be crucial for the Toronto Blue Jays. Here's the pitch, and that is outside. I was going to call that an outside pitch, but I waited because the way they have been playing. And Will Robertson is pinch running for Kevin Biggio today. As here comes the pitch, and Danny fouls that back. That was a good pitch to try and swing for the fences for. Just got underneath it. 2-2 count to Danny. Here's the pitch. Danny Jansen gets a hold of it. Going deep, deep, and that will be on the warning track for third out, about 3 feet from the fence. And rookie Ricky Tideman is coming into the game for the Toronto Blue Jays for the top of the 6th inning as we go to commercial. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure doing this. Just watching the Jays game, might as well stream it as well, as we are just going to go look at everything here. Not so good day here today. Let's go look at my Oilers. $32 views on that? Okay. All right. We're just waiting here. Commercial break. You know how it is. They got to make their money somehow. Welcome in. And we got 2 of you in here. If you don't mind hitting that like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. And there is a questionnaire or a voting system in the chat there. Will the Toronto Blue Jays win the AL East this season? It could be close between them and the Yanks for sure, as they are showing the Blue Jays store there in Dunedin. And, of course, the Toronto Maple Leafs are in Edmonton tomorrow to take on the Edmonton Oilers. That will be a 5 o'clock start, I believe, for that game. That game last night, Bruins-Oilers, was pretty darn good. Watched it as we got Ricky Tideman in pitching in single A and double A. He had 18 starts for a 2.17 ERA. Opponent's average was 149 in 78 and 2/3 innings. He had 117 strikeouts and 29 walks. 117 strikeouts in 78 innings. That's pretty good. I have brought up the whole pitching aspect. I believe Tideman could be one of the Jays' rotation pitchers this season. if Kikuchi cannot figure it out and Ryu doesn't come back in time. Blue Jays up 4-1 here. We'll go and look at what this score is. It is still 5-1 for the Phillies over the other Jays in that aspect. As here's Tideman versus Baez, as he has some heat on his fastball. That's clocked in at 98. That looked a bit faster, but that clocked in. Javier Baez 0 for 1 with a sac fly last at bat, as Tideman is behind him 1-0. Here comes a fastball right down the middle, 1-1 count. And so Tideman's hitting the 97 to 99 mile per hour fastball as a lefty. Well, that could be deadly for the Toronto Blue Jays if he could figure it out, as that is a changeup at 86. Damn, okay. Tideman has some velocity to his pitches, as Baez is down 1-2 to Ricky Tideman here in the top of the 6th. And there's a pitch and a swinging strike as Ricky Tideman sets down Javier Baez on 4 pitches for a strikeout. That's 4 straight strikeouts for Toronto Blue Jays pitchers in a row, Bass and Tideman, as that was just a perfect top of the plate, top far corner fastball. That is what we like to see by Ricky Tideman. As up to the plate is Meadows. I believe Austin Meadows is his name. As Tideman goes across plate, and that will be called a ball. I'm surprised John Snyder hasn't come out and said something to the here in the last few innings, where it doesn't seem to be going the Blue Jays' way in that sense, as there's another pitch, and that will be called a strike. 1-1 count to Austin Meadows here in the top of the 6th. We've been live for 37 minutes. 4 likes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's been greatly appreciated. And that will be grounded to shortstop and thrown over to first, as 2 quick outs for Ricky Tideman has Detroit down to their final out here in the 6th inning, as Verling is coming up to bat. He's 1 for 2 against the lefty rookie in Tideman. As the Blue Jays have kind of took all their starters out here today. I believe pretty much all of them are done for now. As here's Tideman, 0-1 count to Verling, and that will be a ball inside. 1-1 count. For him throwing 97, 98, 99 on his fastball, he has pretty good command. I hope to see this guy kind of future with the Blue Jays as he gets a swinging foul ball down the right field line there by Verling, who is 1 for 2 with a single in the 4th. And that is it for them today. So 10 pitches in, 2 outs, 1-2 count here for Ricky Tideman. Bass last inning struck out the side in order, and that is going to be another foul ball. 99 on the radar gun for Ricky Tideman, who command for that is really good. Let's see what they have. I would love to see this kid in AAA or the majors this year, possibly taking the roster spot of Kikuchi. And there's a swinging strike, and that will do it for the top of the 6th as Ricky Tideman comes in, strikes out 2, and we are on to the bottom of the 6th inning here. Wow, that kid has some nasty stuff. As the World Baseball Classic begins March 7th, I believe we are streaming those games here on the channel. March 8th will be kind of rough for me, but hopefully Clem Hawks can do that for us here on the channel. Like I said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. 2 of you in here. It's just spring training. Let's get back to it. Missed watching baseball. Of course, MLB The Show comes out, well, technically next month. We are only a day left here in February. This year has been going by pretty fast. It seems like just the other day, the Houston Astros won the World Series. As I'm getting a text from Lucky Mobile. Sure, don't care. As it is commercial break here, as we wait for more stuff to come in here. As just there, as we are just in a commercial break here, let's go check how the other Blue Jays team is doing right now, as that is still 5-1 top of the. How do the Blue Jays have a run, but no RBIs? I don't understand, but it is what it is. It's still 5-1 top of the 7th for that Toronto Blue Jays team. This game, though, Chris Bassett started, pitched really well, giving up only 1 earned run in 2 innings. The team's been playing decent. Anthony Bass came in, struck out the side. Ricky Tideman, I think through 13 pitches, struck out 2, got the next inning done. He has an amazing velocity on his arm, as I think John Snyder just said, good job, as he is done. Ricky Tideman is only going to pitch the 1 inning today, as he was hitting 99 in spring training already. Heard this kid could hit 101 miles per hour on his fastball. That is something that the Blue Jays will like from the lefty, as we have Wolf on to pitch for the Detroit Tigers. And that is a single to right field from, I'm not too sure who 88 is. They have everyone up right now. As that, I believe, was Ricky Tideman's first big league spring training stuff, and he proved it well, as we got Wolf pitching to Tally now. They got all the A guys, double A guys up here seeing what they can do. You never know. You could get one of those guys who comes in after playing A and double A and triple A last season and just lights it out over top of other players. As the count is 1-1 to Tally, we got a guy on first base for the Toronto Blue Jays, as they are up 4-1 in this game in the bottom of the 6th, and they are praising about Ricky Tideman right now, and I am too. That kid is going to be phenomenal for the Toronto Blue Jays, as Tally hits it into right field again, and whoever was on first has some speed and gets to third on a single. I don't know who that is on third base, I'm not going to lie, but he has some running capabilities, as Tally will get on. He's 1 for 1, as Cook will come up to bat as well here. Wow, he has some speed. Here's Cook against Wolf. Of course, some of these players are just from A, double A, maybe played some triple A last season, as all the starters are out for this game. And Zach Cook played 102 games in double A last season, hit a $189 for them down there, as he is even count here at 1 apiece with a swinging strike there. Runners on the corners, no out. This would be a perfect time for Cook just to get a fly ball somewhere, score the runner from third, and so on and so forth. As we got 3 of you in here, welcome in. And there's a swinging strike again by Cook. It is a 1-2 count. Wolf having his way with Cook right now. Cook Wolf. Just kidding. But here comes the pitch. He's ready anyway. Here comes the pitch now. And that will be a low pitch, but swinging strike by Cook, as that will be 1 out here. As we got 5 likes on the stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Greatly appreciate that. As warming up in the bullpen is Jay Jackson, a right-handed pitcher. So, like I said, Ricky Tideman just getting the 1 inning, getting a lot of smiles from Chris Bassett and John Snyder. And up to bat is Roden. He pinch ran for George Springer and whatnot. He pinch ran for George Springer after George Springer walked, and he will be his replacement there in right field as that hits his shoulder. And that will be a hit by a pitch as the Blue Jays now have bases loaded for D. Los Santos coming up to bat here. And Roland never really moved. He just took that pitch like a man. He didn't even try to move out of the way. He's like, no, I'm getting hit. That is it. That is what we're doing today. So here's D. Los Santos up to bat against Wolf. Hits it down the line, but that will be foul. As the Blue Jays have the bases loaded here, 1 out. Bases loaded for a second time. Los Santos has played in AA and AAA last season, 257 average for him in those leagues. They're just trying to see if maybe one of these guys could be an everyday player. As Los Santos grounds into an inning-ending double play again. Same as what Bichette did earlier, as the Blue Jays strand bases loaded for a second time today, and they are up 4-1 going to the top of the 7th. As we will just wait for commercial break. As what I was getting asked if that was routine. As we will just answer Dolany TV back there, as it is a commercial break here, folks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, don't mind anything MLB related. We got you covered here. Most of the live streams will be of the Toronto Blue Jays and Minnesota Twins. You know, the odd day that they're both off on the same day, we'll probably do a different team. We'll see what games are on there for sure. But of course, I'll probably have special guests too, Clem Hawks himself, and I will try and do one, especially when it's the Minnesota Twins versus the Toronto Blue Jays. And I know Dolany TV will probably have an impact on it later in the summer after the hockey season's done there, as well. As we're just in a commercial break. Blue Jays up 4-1 over the Detroit Tigers in this game. In the other Blue Jays game, it is still 5-1 for the Philadelphia Phillies. In that game, Thomas Hatch got lit up for 5 runs in 1 inning. I think it was 5 runs actually in a third of an inning before he could get out of it. So there's that. Thomas Hatch, of course, high hopes for him a few years back and hasn't really panned out. As we got 3 of you guys in here, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. As all the starters, Vladdy, Bichette, Springer, all those guys have been replaced in this game. So it's a bunch of the rookies. And we got Jay Jackson, who played in rookie and AAA last season, 2.49 ERA in 21 and 2/3 innings pitched with 24 strikeouts. So we'll see what he can bring. Of course, last 2 innings, Ricky Tideman going 2 strikeouts in his 3 outs, hitting 99 miles per hour on his fastball as Cesar Hernandez is up to the plate. And Anthony Bass sitting down the order in strikeouts as well. So good to see those 2 guys get it done, as Jackson will miss low and inside for a 1-1 count on Cesar Hernandez here. As we do have the pull up, will the Toronto Blue Jays win the AL East this season as a curveball by Jackson goes low and inside again? 2-1 count for Cesar Hernandez here. And here's the pitch to Cesar Hernandez. That is low and inside again. So 3-1 count here today, as we'll should be able to do the whole game. I am getting kind of hungry though. It's been a long day already. Oilers trading Pugliarvi. Gavin Lux of the Dodgers out for the rest of the season. It's been a long day, as this will be popped up by Hernandez and a dive by whoever's in left field, but he cannot come up with it, and Cesar Hernandez will be safe at second. That was a nice try on the dive. I think it actually popped out of his glove. As we'll watch this replay here. It was a late break by the left fielder. He dove and it went underneath his glove. He kind of knocked it down. That went right through his glove. I'm sorry. That actually literally went right through his glove while he was diving. Nice try by the left fielder. Here's Jackson with Cesar Hernandez on second base. This is deep fly ball to left field. They have it on the warning track. Cesar Hernandez taking off for third. And they're going to call him safe. But did that foot come off the bag while he was sliding? They're going to take a look at this one quickly. See, that foot kind of came off the bag while the tag was applied. Or that's not Cesar Hernandez anymore. They pinch ran him for someone else. It's Andrew Navigato. He did pinch run for Cesar Hernandez on that play. They just announced it as they are calling him safe. Here's Jackson, 1 out with a runner on third base, and Rogers up to bat here coming into the game. And that will be taken for a strike one. 0-1 count. Last season, Jake Rogers with the Detroit Tigers hit a .239 with 6 home runs and 17 RBIs for them. As Jackson is up 0-1 here to Rogers, and that will be taken down and low for a 1-1 count. Navigato is at third after Cesar Hernandez doubled to start the inning off against Jackson. 1-1 count. Here comes the pitch. Any second here. I thought there's a time clock here. And that will be down and away for ball 2. 2-1 count here today for Rogers. Whoa. Spring training is really boring. Jesus is up in the bullpen for the Tigers for more than likely pitching the bottom of the 7th, as that is called a strike. It's a 2-2 count to Rogers here today. John Snyder just watching on as his team's winning here. And there's a swinging strike for a strikeout for Jackson, as there's a runner on third with 2 outs now, and up to bat for the Detroit Tigers will be, if it ever shows it, sorry. Will be Short again. He's 1 for 2 today. So I'm taking it they didn't bring many players for the bench for the Detroit Tigers. Zach Short is 1 for 2 with the single in the 3rd inning. As that will be a strike. Here comes Jackson again with the pitch. Maybe he takes a little bit longer than other pitchers, as that will catch the plate. That's a 0-2 count. So all of a sudden, Detroit had a leadoff double, a fly out to move the runner, and now there's 2 outs with the runner still on third, with Zach Short being down 0-2 here on the count. Here comes Jackson, and they tried to bring that in, but no cigar, as it's a 1-2 count for Jackson here. Short just trying to find any grass to bring in Navigado from third after Hernandez's double he got pinched ran for. And here comes the pitch from Jackson. Swinging strike 3 as he gets his second strikeout. The Jays have 7 strikeouts in the last 9 batters combined between 3 pitchers. And that will do it for the top of the 7th as the bottom of the 7th is due up. But that is going to do it for me today, folks. Been streaming for an hour. Get some grub in me. Do some more videos. Got the wife asking me to do stuff. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am on out of here once I figure out how to end the stream. You guys have a great day. I'll catch you on the next one.